Question for you this morning. What does it mean to make a difference? If you would say something like having a positive impact or changing the world for good, congratulations, you speak modern English. But you would not pass 1611 English. Let's talk about why. Hey everyone, I'm Colin, the resident nerd and Bible scholar here at the Bible Uncut and Unfiltered. And this week, what I'm talking about is Jude verse 22. This is a corner of scripture that is not super popular, but it does show up once in a while when people want to have a nice catchy church sign or a youth group t-shirt or a missions trip devotional. And the verse just simply reads, "Of some have compassion, making a difference." So it becomes this rallying cry for Christian activism and compassion. Go out there and make a difference for good. Change people's lives, change the world, have an impact. And you know what? That sounds really good, but it's not what the verse is talking about. And as great as making a positive impact on the world is, that is not what Jude has in mind here. See, the Greek word that he uses for making a difference actually doesn't mean to make an impact. It means to make a distinction, to have a difference between one group and another, to make a judgment call. Jude is not actually calling us to be world changers here. He is giving us instructions on how to make careful distinctions on how to treat different kinds of people. And context matters, because Jude has been absolutely scorching in this letter. It's super short. You can read it in one sitting. It is literally only a one-chapter book. And he starts off calling out these false teachers, abusers of grace, people who twist God's mercy into a license for exploiting other people. It's not a gentle letter. But then he pivots at the end. And after all the fire and brimstone about the people who are destroying these religious communities, he says, okay, here is how you actually deal with them. And this is where verses 22 and 23 come in. And the manuscript tradition does get a little messy here. There are different versions of how this plays out, but that's not the main topic of this video. The core idea for today is that Jude wants us to make distinctions in Greek about how to respond to different people in different situations. Some people you should show mercy to with gentleness. Others you need to save with fear, snatching from the fire, as he says. And sometimes we need this mercy mixed with caution, hating even the garment stained by the flesh, as Jude writes. It's not this blanket, be nice to everyone or make a positive impact. It is a call to discernment, to wisdom, to treating different situations differently. And Jude is writing about people who abuse positions of power, who exploit grace, who hurt others and then all of a sudden start preaching forgiveness when they get confronted for the stuff that they did wrong. The harsh language of his letter, that's for abusers, manipulators, the kinds of people who proclaim judgment on others and then demand grace for themselves when they fall. And at the end, Jude says, even with these people, you need to exercise severe mercy. You need discernment. Sometimes you need to yank them out of what they are doing. You need to remove them from their positions of power. You need to refuse to allow them to preach. You need to not let them take over your spiritual community. It's not soft, therapeutic compassion. This is urgent, risky rescue work, trying to save spiritual communities from religious abusers. It is confronting destructive patterns while still holding hope for that specific person. But sometimes we just take this verse and due to the way that the English language has changed over the last 400 years, we've turned it into just a very simplistic, make a positive difference kind of thing that you can slap on a t-shirt. We have stripped out the discernment, the severity, the actual difficult work of distinguishing between situations and replaced it with this just good vibes theology. And actually, Bible scholar Dan McClellan recently used this verse in a TEDx talk as a perfect example of how we misinterpret the Bible. And he's really right. There are a lot of unconscious factors that shape how we read Scripture. Our culture values making a difference. We love to impact, influence, and change the world. So when we see those English words, our brain automatically maps our modern meaning onto this ancient text. We don't even realize we're doing it. The translation says make a difference, and we think we understand it perfectly because those words already mean something to us. But Jude was written in Greek, in a specific context, with a specific meaning, and none of it was about just having a positive impact to change the world. This is why translation matters, and using multiple translations in Bible study matters as well. This is why context matters. This is why we can't just grab English words that sound good and assume we know what the Bible is trying to tell us. So what's the actual point of Jude 22 to 23? It is about wisdom in dealing with people who are caught up in destructive patterns, maybe false teachers themselves, maybe people who have been influenced by them. And Jude is saying you need to make distinctions, kind of like how Proverbs says, answer a fool according to his folly, answer not a fool according to his folly. Which one is it? Well, it depends on the circumstance. You need discernment. Some situations call for gentleness. Some call for urgency. Some require a mixture of mercy and caution. Sometimes you just gotta walk away. This isn't about feel-good theology. This is hard, messy, risky work of engaging with people who disagree with you while protecting yourself and your community. It is about severe mercy, not just nice feelings. Now, all of that being said, should we have compassion? Absolutely. Should we try to make a positive difference in the world? 100%. But let's just not pretend that that's what these couple of verses are talking about. If we're going to read the Bible seriously, we need to let it actually say what it is trying to say, even if that's occasionally harder and messier than what we wish it said. So let me know, have you ever heard Jude 22 used as an inspirational verse? And how does knowing the actual meaning change how you read it? Let's talk about it in the comments.